remember that building that I asked you to remember? So this new one here is going to be 2.5 times taller. There are approximately 300 elderly Chinese people living in Chinatown. This is Chinatown. Living in the worst, crappiest conditions, worse than the ones that we saw up on Hastings Street. We're talking about 90-year-old people who have to crawl up 4-story, decrepit staircases, bathroom down the hall if it works. The Chinese youth have been asking for a seniors home. They have asked the city to purchase this lot and to zone it as senior residence. There'll be 22 units set aside for seniors. We have no idea of how much it's going to cost. Because Chinatown, for some damn strange reason, was totally excluded from the downtown area of that. The city said, well, they had a 5-year zoning plan put in place for Chinatown that was separate, which was great because the only people that were excluded from that were the residents. That zoning plan was put in place by the Chinese Business Association. They didn't ask people who ran the small stores or rented. They didn't ask the residents, and here's your plan. So what we're getting out of this fantastic plan is towers like that. Those are condominiums, those are low-cost rentals that Herb spoke about, and 11 units set aside for 3 years for Chinese seniors. After 3 years, nobody knows what the hell they're going to do. Anybody from Vancouver who's thinking of getting involved in a lot, think twice. Don't do it.
I just want to say one thing about Chinatown too. It's often lauded by the city as a symbol of Vancouver's multiculturalism. But that's a glossing over of why Chinatown exists. As some of the people that were loggers or owned logging companies or mining companies or resource extraction companies, as they became more and more wealthy, they established neighborhoods like Kitsilano, like Shaughnessy. And so these buildings were empty. And in those neighborhoods, it's actually still written into many of the bylaws today. There's still anti-Asian bylaws written into housing agreements in neighborhoods like Shaughnessy, in neighborhoods like Kitsilano. And when people see that and point that out to a realtor, the realtor kind of just embarrassedly laughs and says, oh, it's too expensive to change those laws. So we kind of just ignore them. But that in itself says a lot about this city. It says a lot about how guilty people feel. And it says a lot about how, I was talking about how governments and media outlets co-opt the sweat equity of neighborhoods that the residents built. You know, it wasn't until Chinatown was a good symbol of multiculturalism for decades that the city decided to make a move on it. And now they're trying to use Chinese heritage as a way to redevelop or rebrand buildings. But it has nothing to do with the Chinese, with the actual work that the Chinese people did to build this community. It's co-opting and quite frankly insulting to the people that do work on the ground to make neighborhoods safe, to turn them from a gathering of buildings into communities.
If you look across the street, that is one of the jewels of Vancouver. That's the Dr. Sun Yat-sen garden, and it's no accident that is there. We're